This message comes from Capital One. The Capital One Venture X Business Card has no preset spending limit, so the card's purchasing power can adapt to meet business needs. Plus, the card earns unlimited double miles on every purchase, so the more a business spends, the more miles earned. And when traveling, the Venture X Business Card grants access to over 1,000 airport lounges. The Venture X Business Card. What's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/VentureXBusiness.
Welcome to Carpe Dime, the podcast where we explore personal finance and everyday life. I'm Nicole Jackson.
And I am Jamie Davidson from Financial Center. Thanks for joining us as we break down our 10 smart financial decisions to make in your 20s, 30s, and beyond.
Beyond, seriously. Okay, well, today we're going to talk about money moves that set you up for success no matter what stage of life you're in.
Especially if you're in the beyond stage like Nicole, which I don't know if you guys heard that tone in her voice.
Okay.
So from building a strong foundation in your 20s to maximizing wealth in your 30s and 40s, and as you said, and beyond, we're going to walk through some key financial steps to help make the most of your money. Before we dive into the specifics, let's talk about why it's so important to make the right money moves early on, which takes us to Nicole and her stats of the day.
Okay, so we're going to start talking about the fact that nearly 40% of Americans wouldn't be able to cover an unexpected $400 expense.
That's just wow. I mean, it's true. It's been this way for a while. It blows my mind every time I see it.
You definitely take it for granted. I mean, they're supposed to say you keep how much in your savings?
We're going to get to that today. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, at least 1,000. Yeah. We're going to cover a little bit more of that.
The next one I have is almost a quarter, 24% of millennials demonstrate basic financial literacy.
So a quarter of them have financial literacy. That's good.
But it depends on the definition of basic financial literacy too, though. Do they mean they can write a check, or does it mean that they know how to balance their checkbook?
Do you think they actually balance their checkbook?
I mean,
do you?
What's a checkbook?
There you go. Right. What else you got?
About 50% of people aged 30 to 39 regret not saving for retirement sooner.
Yeah, this is a common mistake, and we're going to talk a little bit about what you should be doing.
The last one that we have is the average American that's in their 40s has over $78,000 in debt, which includes things like their mortgage, their auto loans, credit cards.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised with that number. I thought it would be higher.
You thought that was high?
I thought
not high enough.
I didn't think it was high enough because of the cost of mortgages the last 3 years. So I was kind of surprised. That's a good surprise, though, right? We know average credit card debt for the average American is almost $8,000. So
right.
I thought it'd be a little more than 78 because of the cost of housing and actually automobiles. So what surprised you?
Well, and that 40% number is still kind of surprising to me. I just feel like it's, I guess, high, like you said.
Yeah, not even $400.
Right.
Yeah.
You take for granted.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jamie,
Mhm.
if I'm one of those people that just doesn't even really know what's out there, where do I start? Talk to me like I'm two.
Nicole, I would never talk to you like you're two.
I
We know that would not
appreciate
go
it.
very well. So we're going to break this down in lifestyle stages, as we said, 20s, 30s, and beyond, right? So number one, start investing early in your 20s. A lot of young people don't start investing right away because they don't really know about it. So if I was going to talk to you about it, I would say, Nicole, does your employer offer a 401k? And if you said yes, I'd say, well, what are you contributing? And you'd say nothing. And that's where discussion would start.
And that's what the problem would be.
Yeah.
So if you start investing, $100 a month at age 25, what is that an average 7%?
Yeah. If you get a 7% return, yeah. You're going to have how much?
$250,000 by retirement.
Just for $100 a month, right?
Right. But if you wait until you're 35, you will only get at least half that, right?
Yeah, it'll be about half of that. Yeah. So 10 years is going to make a huge difference there. And that's the whole thing when we're talking to somebody in their 20s. We want to tell them these things, and this is the way to financial freedom in the long run. But you're in your 20s. I was in my 20s. You couldn't tell me much, right?
Right. In 30s, you can't really tell them much.
So you start with the investing. Then you want to talk about is building that emergency fund. Experts recommend saving 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in an accessible account. So we're talking already that 40% don't even have $400 in an account. And now we're telling them to have how much?
3 to 6 months. So that's what your rent and your utilities.
Groceries, auto loan, mortgage, whatever you have.
And those reoccurring Netflix charges. Okay, so number 3 is establish good credit habits. Keeping your credit utilization low and making payments on time to avoid that unnecessary debt.
Right. I think a lot of us in our 20s get our credit cards, but we don't think about the repercussions of not
Paying
paying
them
them
back.
off, of paying them off. I mean, paying them off monthly, right? It's the monthly that's the issue. If you're going to
Mhm.
use it, try to pay it off monthly because those interest rates, like you said, they're so high.
Right.
And when inflation happens, they're usually variable rates, so that rate's going to continue to go up. Now, let's talk about the 30s. What is the top financial move for this stage? You just got out of your 30s, so what was your top financial move?
Getting serious about your retirement contributions, right?
Okay, so we already talked about it. Now, what do we want to do with that?
We want to max it out.
Yeah, max it out. Are you maxing out your 401k?
I think I am.
Good job.
Yeah, but that's, all thanks
That's
to you,
because
Jamie.
Nicole's listened to me for so many years,
I
right?
have.
All right.
Actually, I think I listened to you from day one.
Oh,
Max
wow.
out your 401k so
Wow.
I get as much as I can.
I am so happy I got to hear that on a recording. Thank you, Nicole. That meant the world to me. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Best day of the week so far. Okay. So number 5, consider home ownership. Nicole, do you have a home?
I do
You
have
have a house, don't you? Right? Yeah.
do.
If it fits your lifestyle and it makes sense for you, it's time to try to buy that house because you're going to build equity over time. It's going to be an asset that you're going to have. That being said, it's not right for everybody. And if the price is not right, don't buy the house.
Another big one is paying down your high interest debt. Or what's the word where you put them all together?
Consolidate.
Yes. Your credit cards, your personal loans, and any other lingering student debt should be your priority to get rid of. Your high interest debt actually slows down your financial progress. So if you start with the higher ones, it will help the interest that you're paying on your loans aggressively.
Yeah, you want to pay those off because they're so high. Your debt's just going to keep growing and growing and growing like a weed.
When I graduated from college, I didn't think about it right from the get-go. And I realized I was like, I'm making all these payments. I'm not missing any payments. Why has my amount due or owed not gone down at all? And it took me a minute to actually realize that I was making it, but I wasn't taking care of,
You were just paying the minimum.
I was just paying the minimum.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
awful.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Anyway.
You got the minimum. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, going back to those 20s conversations, right? Having that conversation. So that brings us to number 7. A lot of people don't like to talk about this, but this is where we're going to talk about life insurance, estate planning, having that will. And it's not just for the older folks over the 40s. Once you have children, once you have assets, you need those. You need to have those life insurance. You need to have that estate planning to move forward in case something should happen.
Who do you look for or to for recommendations on like when to do that? I know that I have time I fill it out. I'm like, Mom, what do I do? What do I do? But
Well, I mean, listen to us. That's one thing you can do, but reach out to somebody you trust that is actually successful with their money. I think that's the key word there. I think if I could go back and tell every 18-year-old when you think you know everything, but you don't, is find a mentor that is older, that knows how to manage their money, and they can teach you if you're open to listening.
right.
Problem is a lot of times we're not open to listening to our parents, right? So find that mentor, that money mentor.
Okay, so we've talked 20s, we've talked 30s. Now that beyond area, which I feel is slightly offensive, but it's fine. What financial priorities do you think should take center stage at this point?
Okay. That's where number 8 comes in. You want to diversify all your investments. By your 40s and beyond, it's a good time to look at your rebalance, see what you have going in there. The more you get past those 40s, you might want to rebalance to something that is more conservative and not as risky. So as you age, you want to bring the risk down in your investment.
So I've missed that risky part of my investing. I have to go back into the safe area again.
Not yet. You're okay. I'm not to that point yet. And I'm in my mid-50s. So it's one of those things, the closer we get to that, then I'm going to start rebalancing. But no, you're still good to go. That's another thing when you're in your 20s and your 30s, really being aggressive with what you're picking because you're going to see more growth. You can suffer the ups and downs, right?
Right.
But when you get a little older, you don't want to suffer those downs as much. What's number 9, Nicole?
Number 9 is to focus on your long-term healthcare planning. As you age, your medical expenses increase with you, and planning for that long-term care can protect your savings account in the end.
Right. It's just a fact of nature. The older you get, the more things you're going to have go wrong with you, and the cost of medical treatment is high in the United States. So if I go out and decide I'm going to go play soccer this weekend and I haven't played soccer in 10 years, I'm probably going to be injured come Monday.
You should stretch and wear shin guards.
Stretch and wear shin guards.
Might help for you.
Yeah. Shin guards are always a must, I hear. Which takes us finally to number 10. Maximize tax efficiency. Use strategies like Roth, IRAs, and conversions where you can minimize how much you pay in taxes and maximize your return.
Okay.
So there's going to be vehicles out there that you can use. If you want to pay the taxes up front, you're going to use Roth IRAs or Roth investments. because you pay the taxes up front. That means when you withdraw it later in life, when taxes might be higher, you're not going to have to pay taxes on it. And there's some that say the opposite. The other thing during this time is if you have an HSA, health savings account, maximize that as well, because that money is tax-free as long as you use it for medical needs. So you can put money into your HSA every year, and then you can use it as long as you have it. And not only that, you can put it into an investment account and grow it as well.
The money from your HSA can go into an investment account?
Yeah, it can. Actually can. We do that for a lot of our members. We've got a portfolio group that we work with, and we see a lot of growth for them that way.
Huh, that's cool. Okay, so we've gone through that. Now that we've covered the top money moves, let's talk about how our listeners can take action. Jamie, where do we start?
Well, first you want to take stock of where you are financially. You know, that whole idea of where's the starting point, getting on the scale and seeing what's going on. What are your assets? What are your liabilities, right? Start tracking your spending. Always build that budget. We've always talked about that. Calculate your savings rates. Look for those competitive savings rates. We're always worried about interest rates on loans, which you should be, but also look at interest rates on saving.
Right, because I guess right now the big thing is the checkings have interest accounts on them, right?
Right.
I mean,
So,
even those.
yeah, you can get savings, whether it's your checking account, your savings account, money market, certificates of deposit, but also look at your debt rates too to see if there's a way to consolidate or to refinance.
So then next, I'm guessing automate your savings and how much you're saving through transfers.
Yeah, let's go back to that 40% of Americans that don't have enough to cover a $400 expense. That's the key. Having money go directly into a savings account from your paycheck so you don't see it. So it grows, and you teach yourself to only use what's in their checking account. As we've talked in the past, people throw all their money into their checking account and they spend it. So put it into savings, have that direct deposit going straight to that and to your investments.
That's a good idea.
And don't forget, seek professional advice. Or like we said earlier, somebody that's good with their money, talk to them and listen and ask those questions. I've had nephews and nieces come to me and ask those questions, and they were like kind of nervous. For me, it was like, wow, thanks.
Right.
You actually take what I say in my advice. So very good.
Well, it can be intimidating going in and talking to big financial.
Yeah,
people.
I think it's vulnerability, right? Because you're going to put everything out there when it comes to what you owe and they're going to see your good habits, but they're also going to see your bad habits. And
Right.
we're always worried about them seeing our bad habits.
Yeah.
Right. So let's wrap this up, Nicole. We talked about 10 things we can do. Go ahead and tell us about the 20s.
Well, 20s. Okay, so you start investing early.
Yep.
You build your emergency fund so that you have that $400 that you need in case of an emergency or, hopefully more. And then you establish your good credit habits, paying off your credit cards, paying your payments, paying more than the minimum.
Taking care of your credit score.
Taking care of that credit score.
Very
yes.
good. Then when you get to your 30s, get serious about retirement contributions. Start adding more to your retirement. Consider home ownership. It's one of those things where in your 30s, sit down and have that conversation, look at your budget. Pay down high interest debt if you have it, because if you're paying high interest debt, you're not able to save as much.
Right.
And this is also the time for life insurance and estate planning.
All right. So then we lead into the beyond 30s. You want to diversify your investments, increase your long-term healthcare planning. So make sure you're planning for any surprises down the road, and maximize your tax efficiency.
Say that, maximize again.
Maximize.
Tax efficiency. Pay less in taxes is what she's saying, folks. So what's the bottom line, Nicole?
No matter what your age, there's always steps you could take to improve your financial health. Whether you're just starting out or in the middle of your career or somewhere down the road, planning for retirement maybe, the key is to be proactive.
Yeah, exactly, Nicole. The best time to start was when? Yesterday, right? So the next best time is today if you didn't start yesterday. Financial planning isn't about the perfect strategy. It's about making the best decisions you can based on your life stages and your goals.
Carpe Dime is presented by Financial Center First Credit Union. It's produced by Jamie Davidson, Nicole Jackson, and Garrett Rude. Financial Center is an 8-time national award winner in adult financial literacy, and our goal is what, Nicole? Help improve your financial life. Learn more, visit fcfcu.com. Like what you hear, subscribe to us on Google, iTunes, SoundCloud, the All Indiana Podcast Network, and Spotify, or any other place where you listen to your podcasts.